So, Joel, thank you very much for sending in your lesson, buddy. Really looking forward to working with you and helping you out with your swing. So, really good that you sent in two lots of videos here. So, one with how you're standing to kind of adjust for what's happening to your ball flight. So, with that open stance to hit the ball more to target, and one with a squarer stance. So, okay, so absolutely, when we're suffering with poor ball flight, having something that can help us in the short term is not a bad thing to get us out on the golf course. But we know absolutely, as it's suggesting here from you sending in the videos of you standing square, you know that it's kind of like a band-aid fix of what you're doing is to open up your stance. So let's get you understanding your golf swing. We'll have a look at the front on angles as well, and then we'll get straight on camera and talk about what we've got to do. So, okay, we'll first start off with these two down the line videos, and then we'll look at the front on. So, okay. Well, we can see your setup wise looks really quite nice and solid, which is good. If we look at, let's say the one with the square stance to start off with, we can see everything really lines up nicely with each other, which is great. So as we know that a square stance on its own, as we know, won't affect our ball flight in a negative way. It will help us more than anything. But of course, as we know, the golf swing's a dynamic movement. We could put into positions that can make things undesirable. So let's have a look here and let's get it started. So we can see as we start in that backswing, have a slightly pushed out takeaway with the hands. It's not necessarily a bad thing. That alone isn't going to cause you to, of course, hit the ball to where you need to open your stance to adjust for it. We can see club face looks square. And what we're going to see from the face on angle, you're a strong grip player as well. Really important to know what your grip type is, so you know what wrist angles you should be getting. You also know how your swing should function and how you should move your body. So what we're going to see as we're coming out to the top of the swing, we're not getting a tremendous amount of lower body rotation. So you can see if anything, your right leg just starts to work more into extension, just straightens up rather than rotating. You can see that almost via the right pocket area. You can see that doesn't really move back and around like it would do with rotation. You're just kind of flexing your knees. So you're straightening your right knee and then flexing your left, moving in that fashion rather than turning. So when we do that, we get into a higher hand position at the top of our swing, hands and arms a little bit higher. So that means what we call a lack of depth. So if I draw a line straight from the hands dead straight down, we can see pretty in front of the body. But when we don't turn enough, that's going to create that because rotation in the backswing brings the hands and arms more around the body. That's the mechanism for it. So if we don't rotate the body, as we said, the hands and arms have got to move up, but of course they have moved around from where they were. So that's where we know they pulled around on their own as well, which can cause the right side, the right arm to get stuck. So from there, we can see a little bit of a cup in the left wrist, which for your grip type is absolutely fine. Keeps the club face nice and square. But at the top, other than just not turning the pelvis, you're not in a bad spot at all. And then as we move down, what we're going to see, so we can see the right side starts to kick forward. We can see the right elbow starts to point more behind. That's right shoulder internal rotation, which gets the club steep. And we know, of course, like we just said, the right side is starting to move forward. We're going to see that happen, especially with that heel. See how that heel's lifting up. That pushes the right knee and right hip more forward. And for you, if you're steepening the shaft, right side of the body moving close to the golf ball, right arm in that internal rotation, that's just going to make the face more closed as we come down into the shot. And yeah, it's going to cause that hot pull shot. So ultimately, all you would have to do from this swing here is get more lower body rotation. Whilst we're doing that, prevent that right knee from overly straightening too early. And because when we get that more rotation of the pelvis coming back, your right arm and your right elbow is going to have less chance to go into that internally rotated position with the elbow pointing behind, which steepens the shaft. So that's because as we're rotating up to the top, your right arm isn't going to pull around you all too much. That means you're going to be in a little bit better of a structure. We can work on that in a very simple way. So just ultimately, more pelvic turn to the top. And as we're moving down, that's going to help you not get quite as steep. And then as we're moving down, when we're not quite as steep, the club face isn't going to close down through the shot. But we need to work on how the right side moves. Prevent that right heel from overly lifting up, pushing yourself forward, which would also be aiding that shot that goes out a little bit left on you every now and again. So let's have a look at it here on the right. So as we're moving up, of course, the hand path's going to move out. Now, there's definitely from this lesson, this is definitely the open stance of something would 100% have to stop because so many faults are occurring purely because of this. So that's where we can see the faces open up way more in the takeaway. You have way more crank of the left wrist. It's really cupping even more so to where now that's opening up the club face quite considerably. Still the same move with not rotating the pelvis, which is ultimately your root cause issue of your problems. You have even more right side drive up, which is really causing that right arm to get stuck. And then moving through ultimately as well as you can. So that open stance is giving you, if we count here, 1, 2, 3 more faults, 4 more faults, because the right arm gets more stuck. So that's where absolutely that's something where again band-aid fixes can help you for a round of golf. Absolutely they can, but they're not something that we would want to do long term because I would absolutely say technical wise, if you kept doing this for a good few more months, your golf game will decline quite quickly. So that's where here ultimately we'll need to do a couple changes from there, getting more rotation in that backswing. Ultimately, what will be really helpful for you also working on keeping that right side more back, which is a lot better here than it is on that right hand side swing. You could also work on keeping those arms closer together to stop in the downswing, that right arm from moving more back. So I'd say on a priority list here for you is absolutely rotation in that backswing is a good big key. That's going to help you get into a better structure. Preventing the right arm from pulling back behind you and how the right side of the body works. So ultimately, for us, we only really want to work on 2 things maximum at once. So that's where for us having those first 2 in that ladder rung of our process, turn and right arm would be great. And then we could work on that right side of the body. Otherwise, it'd be a bit too much to work on at one go. So let's have a look at some other videos. We'll dive into it on camera.